obviously I'm defined by my cat. As the title suggests, I'm here to make two confessions. I'm not sure if I have made one of them before. One of them I have. But one of them, I think tonight might be the first time, and it's actually the one that I'm more ashamed of. Now, to understand what I will be talking about, let me start by saying, this is okay. The current market value of 50 kurush. And this is related to my confession. But to understand what I mean by this, I have to take you back in time. Let's go back, let's say, 35 years. Wow, okay, so this is me. Obviously the one on the right. This is the school that I went to, and this is the desk that I did my first burglary in my life, and I stole this from a classmate's handbag. By the way, I was there when she discovered, because I was eating it. I was hiding it under one of those desks, and as I was eating this, to this day, I still remember the shriek that she uttered when she realized that her cake was stolen. My cake! And I felt something here. But I kept on eating. To this day, I have not been able to compensate for this. So her name was Maria. Maria, if you went to every school in 1983, please get in touch with me. I will give you a cake. Now, while it may sound funny, what I did was theft. There is no question about it. I stole something that did not belong to me, and that I didn't pay for. So to this day, I still hear her shriek in my ears, and to this day, I still feel ashamed of what I have done. Theft, something that I strive to do strive to be very against for. But about the same time that this was happening, I got one of these things. Do you remember?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there anyone in the room who's seeing this for the first time?
Okay. The young ones.
The young ones, yeah, okay. Well, this is a computer. Okay, it's a computer, it's not like, and it's not fancy, I think it was like 64K, so if you're carrying a regular iPhone in your pocket, you're talking about 1 million of these devices. And it came like a screen, with this screen. And this is where you actually enter stuff. So to load, you write LOAD, press enter, and then you put your cassette into this. So I hear the yes, so everybody's remembering. Okay, so this is what we used to play the games. Now, more often than not, if you remember, you had to adjust. What should we call it? Yeah, but in English, what should we call it? Anyway, you had to adjust. It wasn't like you put the cassette in, press play, and it would work automatically.
Calibration, yeah.
Calibration, yes. You had to do this every single time. Otherwise, the software wouldn't load, and you wouldn't come up with the screen that says the game is loaded. So what I would do, literally, by the way, the cassettes that went into this, I don't know, I got them from friends, my father gave me a few. I never realized the fact that they were in Turkish brand. The brand of the cassette was Turkish. On it was handwritten something in English, which I didn't know what it was. It was handwritten, so this wasn't a mass manufactured cassette. Obviously, it was copied from someplace else. And imagine this, the copying makes it a theft at the same time. So when I put this thing into this cassette player, I literally got down on my knees and I begged. Please God, let it work. Please let it work so I can start shooting people on the street. Or having fights. And you know, this is the graphics that we got. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, time moved on. And today, we are talking about enormous speeds of internet. So you have access to many things right now, which you didn't have back then. And for me, this was like the gates of heaven opening up. Because now I could go out there and download everything that I wanted. Musics, videos, software, many things. And now I'm thinking that it's funny actually. When I realized that I could put my hands on anything that I just wanted without leaving my room, without opening up my wallet, without making any payment or sacrifice in return, this was a truly blissful moment for me. And boy, did I use it. I started downloading every single music title out there that I wanted, and I had such an archive that even today I cannot listen for the rest of my life, even if I live up to 100 years old. There is no time on the planet for that. The archive was massive. And I took pride in it. You know, it was categorized by artist, by album, by year, by genre, whatever. And they kept coming and coming and coming without a single dime coming out of my pocket. When I was satisfied with the music archive that I had, then I took on to the movies. I started downloading movies, and then the HD came up. So I deleted everything, I started downloading HD movies. Movies that I have not heard about, movies that I'm not even interested in, movies, but still that I didn't have to pay a single dime for. So everything came under one roof, in this case, my computer. And when I was done with them, I started downloading software. You know, stuff that we have to pay now. When I was done with them, I started loading operating systems. I know how to use Linux. Why? I didn't need it. I downloaded it, so I learned how to use it. But when all this was happening, there was something that I did not realize. Now, this is my archive that I took a pride in. I was one of those people who walked into a room and said, you know, what a big, massive archive I have. I have all the John Lennon songs. I have all the Beatles albums. I have all the movies who won an Oscar, whatever. And being the obsessive-compulsive person I am, this is what I did with that archive. I started preparing custom labels for them. So not only I stole the music, not only I took possession of it without having a right to do so, I went ahead and created albums for it. Well, thank God I didn't think of selling them, because probably I will be in another hell right now. But the thing is, when all this was happening, I came across with the idea of bad karma. Now, I want you to think 3 hypothetical instances. Let's say you walk out on the street, you come across a person, someone that you don't know, and you forcefully have them give out their money to you. You literally stick your hand to their throat, or pull a gun, or pull a knife, whatever. And so they take out your wallet, and they give you, let's say, 100 liras. That's all they have. And you take the money. Can you please dig deep into your heart and tell me, what would you be feeling when you were spending that money? Would you be enjoying it? This person didn't want to give it to you, but he or she had no choice. Her life was more valuable, so he gave that, or she gave that piece of paper to you, and now you're free to spend it. Would you enjoy it? Now, let's think about the second situation. Again, let's take this night out on the street, but somehow you find a scheme. You don't pull up a gun. You don't take a knife to anybody's throat. You don't have to force them into doing anything. But using your intellect, you find ways of people channeling their money to you. You're not forcing them, but you're using your intellect. So, in a sense, you're fooling them. And money starts flowing to you. Again, when you went out to spend that money, would you feel comfortable? Would you say, this is my hard-earned money, and I'm going to spend it freely? What I did not realize back then, this was exactly what I was doing when I was downloading all that material. Those music artists who spend nights and months and weeks, whatever, to come up with an album, they didn't call me and say, by the way, this is free, you can use it. They are expecting some sort of payment in return. those artists featured in those movies, they don't say, you know what, this is just art, so consume it freely. No, they do not say that. In fact, on every piece of intellectual property that is copyrighted, you see the C in a circle, which means it is copyrighted. It is not meant for non-profit use. It is meant for for-profit use. And for the sake of scenarios, think of spending the money that is given to you in exchange for your labor, in exchange of your service, your ideas, whatever. And think about the feeling that you will have when spending that money. To me, it feels like black and white. They are so different, but this is not something that I realized back then. So tonight, I urge everyone who has some sort of pirated software or music or something that they have on their phones or on computers, just give this a thought. What would you do? How would you feel if you created a piece of art, if you created a piece of product, if you created something meant to provide you with a decent living, and the other person took it, copied it, and started using it, started benefiting from it, or even worse, started enjoying it just because they could? How is that different than pulling a gun on somebody's head and demanding their money? I see no difference. But what are we going to do? Now, obviously, we like our music. Obviously, we like our movies. Obviously, we like our software. I come here with an alternative. Let's say you like listening to music. These are the sites that I could find 2 hours before this meeting. They are completely free. Some of them are advertising supported. In total, I assume they carry millions of songs that you cannot even listen till the end of your life. So we have alternatives. And for this, you can use these websites for music. If you want, I can share these links after this meeting in an email. For movies, in Turkey, you can rent movies for $4.99 and keep them for 3 days or 2 days and watch them, and they're deleted automatically. So this is available in Turkey. For example, Netflix is in Turkey, and for the price of 16 liras a month, you can have unlimited access to all of their archives, and they have 1 month of trial in the beginning. This speech is not endorsed by Netflix. Now, we come to the bigger guns. This is Open Office. It is almost identical to the Microsoft Office. The only difference is it is completely free of charge. You can go there, download it. If you don't have the resources to pay for the Office right now, this is a free alternative among maybe tens of other free Office suites. And if Office is crucial to you, but if you're a student, let's say, or in the academia on a limited budget, the suite, the entire suite is available for 6 liras a month. What is 6 liras? If you're a smoker, it is less than half of this pack. So if you quit for 10 cigarettes, not the packs, the ones inside, 10 pieces of smoke will get you 1 month of fully paid Office suite. And let's come to the bigger guns. For example, this is the entire Adobe. Are there any designers in the room? Okay, not. This is like the epicenter of design software in the world. They are rather expensive throughout the world, but in Turkey they are going, yet still, but with the Turkish prices. This is what you have to pay monthly for the entire suite. This is what you have to pay if you're a student. It is less than half. Again, if you're a student that smokes, 3 packs a month, and then you're covered. Or, in this case, what would you prefer? 4 packs of cigarettes? Or 1 month of world-class creativity? Now, you may say, well, I don't smoke, so I don't pay money to cigarettes. Okay, still okay. I'll give you GIMP. The Photoshop, I'm sure many of you have heard of it, the industry leader software for photography. This is the open source alternative to Photoshop. It is almost identical. It is completely free of charge. You can download it in gimp.org. Now, most of the beautiful software out there that can take care of all our needs in the world are free. It just takes maybe a couple of minutes to find it, to download it, and to use it. All you have to do is go to Google, free Office, search, free Photoshop, search, whatever. Now, the software obviously were the big guns. Now, my awakening before deleting all my pirated archive was this. Because at the time I was starting a business, I was using the excuse of, well, I don't have the finances now to buy Photoshop. But I was going out there to make money using Photoshop. Can you imagine? I was stealing the software and I was using it so that I could build clients. How different is it than a person stealing a cab and then using it to make money? I think it's the same. This was the massive awakening. My first confession was this. Does anyone want cake, by the way? There you go. This was my first awakening, my first confession, I'm sorry. And the second one was I was one of the biggest software and digital archive thieves that you have ever met in your life. And I took pride in it. But today, I have come to this point. Now, who mentioned Shawshank tonight? Berta, did you mention? Razi, you mentioned. This guy still receives a paycheck after almost 30 years that the movie was released. So this is what we are depriving all the artists of when we pirate their products. All the musicians, all the artists, all the actors and actresses, you name it. Just because a movie was shot almost quarter century ago, doesn't mean they don't still make a living out of it. They still receive monthly or yearly paychecks. So this is why I urge you, when you download that software, when you download that torrent, when you download that movie, we all are depriving the intellectual creators of their income. And I will leave you with this. Piracy is stealing. Thank you.